Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Porch. And this is a podcast that's very exciting for Ina and I to be part of, because today we are in downtown Medicine Hat at, I think, a very historic building, although I don't know what year it was built. I think I'll find out, though.
Yeah.
And we're at Inspire Cafe, which is a very safe place for myself and Ina. We like to come here. We like to come for lunch. We like to come for tea, because we had a big tea. Remember that? We had a tea at Christmas time.
Christmas tea.
There was 4 boys at a table, and we felt quite peculiar, actually. And people laughed at us.
Yeah.
But we liked it.
We wish we'd filmed that.
Yeah. And then yesterday, I brought a group of people in for the Irish stew.
Yes.
And that was amazing. That was very good.
Yeah, awesome.
So
He didn't even have supper. He ate so much
it was
Irish
a lot.
stew.
I chose not to have supper last night
Yes.
because I was full still. So this is really a unique restaurant in Medicine Hat, owned by, I think, two unique ladies who are going to share their stories with us today. And the first, they're sisters, actually. And the first lady we're going to speak to is Maureen. And Maureen looks after, I think, the kind of the restaurant part. And she's also a well-known local artist who has a studio in the back. So Maureen, you are very welcome to the Porch.
Thank you.
And so, can you tell us and everybody how did you and Louise come up with this? Like, what happened?
Well, it started, I actually had the studio next door upstairs previously. So I had a studio gallery there that I started in 2008. And it was quite successful. And then this old building was just sitting here, on the corner of 2nd and South Railway, and it was pretty, in disrepair. And the same owners, they live in Fort Macleod, but they own this building as well.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I just said to Louise, "Oh, come in here. Wouldn't this be great?" Can you see it? And she's like, "No." Anyway, so we planned it out, and I mentioned to the owners, we were kind of thinking about it, and then, things moved forward. But we decided, because at the time, this part of 2nd Street was pretty derelict. There wasn't a lot going on. And,
No, you're right.
And so we thought we'd like to bring some life to downtown, because we really love downtown. Like, we grew up just up the street here on 2nd Street, and it's kind of our old stomping grounds. And, we really kind of missed the days when downtown was thriving, and and so we wanted to contribute to kind of bringing that back a little bit. Yeah, so like a couple years later, 2011, we opened the cafe. So we started the renovations in partnership with the owners. So we kind of worked together and did it ourselves, and yeah.
Had you ever done anything like that before?
No.
Wow.
No.
So what age is the building?
It was built in 1901. So this was originally called the Hargraves Sissons Block. And so 2 founding families, the Hargraves and the Sissons, obviously, built this. So even before the railway bridge was built, they had a tent here when Medicine Hat was a tent town. Then they built a wooden structure on this corner. And then in 1901, when the bricks were starting to be produced in this area, then they built this brick structure. So
Beautiful.
It was pretty substantial at the time.
Yeah.
And it was a general store originally. So
Really?
yeah.
Great history for our city.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think the part I love too is, people are able to come in and enjoy this building,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And see
for
some
sure.
of the history.
Yeah.
of
Yeah, feels good. Very comfortable.
Yeah.
And downtown. And I like that.
Yeah.
Helping to make downtown a thriving community.
Yeah. So we just had our 11th anniversary this
Wow.
February. The cafe.
So for many years, you taught art lessons here as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's obviously your studio. So because you sometimes you spend, like, there'll be days where I come in and you'll be in there doing your thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And, and these classes, I think for many years you did classes.
I did, yeah. I taught children and adult classes. So generally on any Saturday, up until a few years ago, we'd have kids all day long,
That's
kind
right.
of in the back. And also did adult classes in the evening, so drawing and painting. Small classes, so people could kind of enjoy the cafe and, kind of go back and forth. A group of ladies that used to come in the afternoons, and then they'd do their lunch and have their classes and stuff. So it kind of worked out kind of neat that way.
We have some beautiful pictures that you have done for us.
Yeah. I've done some, I do pet portraits a lot. So I've done some dog portraits for you, and I still do that. So I still do commissions and, animal portraits, people portraits occasionally, but...
And you had a show, or have a show coming up at the Esplanade?
No, I have just a piece in a group show.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's at the Esplanade right now until April 9th.
Okay.
And they're going to have a closing reception on April 8th. Yeah. So from 7 to 9. And so I think, as far as I know, that's the first reception they've had since kind of the pandemic all started. And they've had some harsh, I think, shutdowns at the Esplanade. The Esplanade, where they...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you guys had, obviously, through COVID, wouldn't have been easier.
No, at the very beginning, when they announced the first shutdowns, Louise and I talked and we're like, should we just pack it in? Just kind of...
Like, that's it?
That's it? Or should we try and navigate through this, And we decided, we're going to continue on. And we've actually... It's been, like, far better than what I was sort of thinking would happen. At the beginning, when everyone was sort of in the dishes and going that route, I thought, this is not going to go well because we don't do that.
Yeah.
And then there was a real movement to support local, and that really was quite amazing, actually.
Awesome.
It made a big impact for us, for sure.
People were very supportive.
Very supportive,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it helped us out a lot. And then Louise started making these little pies, and that really kind of saved
Is that
our...
when they started?
Yeah,
Oh.
because when it was takeout only, we were trying to figure out what the heck we could do.
We've had some of those pies
in the freezer. Yeah.
They're quite good.
So Louise became like a pie minion, making pies like crazy. And that's sort of where that started.
Oh, that's
And
interesting. I just assumed that she always did that.
No, well, she did do them occasionally, but not sort of like that.
So, revitalizing downtown. Second Street has changed to the good.
Yeah.
Obviously, in about the last 5, 6, 7 years, maybe more, like when you guys, and then they did all the work. The city came in and redid everything. But still more work to do. The Monarch Theatre, I think, will be the next big thing that hopefully we can sort out. And there's some real estate beside it that's for sale. And I know that I've tried my best to do something there, and maybe will be able to someday. But I think overall you have a pretty good feeling for the downtown.
It really ebbs and flows. Like, sometimes it feels like it's really, things, and then it goes back and forward, and it does that all of the time, And I think just from an art point of view, like the downtown art walk or whatever, a couple little spaces that we had closed down, the pandemic was incredibly hard on artists, actors, musicians, because basically there was like nothing.
Yeah.
And so, for a little gallery to survive through that, pretty non-existent. So a few places did close down, and so that's somewhat in limbo a little bit as well right now. But I think downtown has some really positive things. Like, I noticed there's this real movement locally with young entrepreneurs starting up really well done little businesses.
Yeah.
Obviously, a few on this street, like the bakery and those little things. And it'll be just nice to see what will move into some of the vacant spots and bring life to those things as well. A lot of people think when new places open that it takes away, like it takes business away, but we have found anytime something new comes in, our business just increases.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, that's that's not the right way to think about it. I think it's good for everybody.
It really is, yeah.
And Boylan, the old Boylan's Drugs just sold the other day, that building.
Okay.
beside Travois. So I don't know what's going to go in there. But, I mean, somebody
good to
bought
know.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's a big square footage. That's,
Yeah.
I think, 3,000 to 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So that's on 3rd Street. And, you know, there's some other businesses on 3rd Street that are for sale. I think we just need a couple to come in and with the Assiniboia going through that redo, in a couple of years, that's going to be an amazing building.
Yes, I have kind of heard a little bit about that.
Yeah,
I
so-
think that will really change
I think so.
downtown a lot, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I think it'll be, whoever's doing it, I'm not exactly sure who's doing it, but they're taking a big step. But I think it'll pay off for them. So I think it's all good. So how much longer is Inspire going to be the way it is today?
I don't know.
I'm 63 and I'd like to come here for 20 more years. So, you know.
Well, I mean, we are forward thinking. Obviously, Louise and myself at some point would like to retire. So, you know, we're planning to be open for a few more years and then figure out what to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is a lot of work, and we have shortened our hours, and it's sort of the pandemic. Like, we used to be open in the evenings, and we did lots of live music, and we partner with the Monarch Theatre, you know, and then the Monarch Theatre is now in limbo, and all of those things. So we've shortened our hours, and it's actually quite nice.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Yeah, that part, that's taxing on you.
Yeah.
It takes its toll.
Yeah.
Open all day and then into the evenings.
Yeah. So, you know, when any place closes, that place is open for several
Yeah.
more hours, just cleaning and
Yeah.
getting everything done for the day. So
Yeah.
that part is good. I'm going to continue, you know, working from here out in my studio, doing commissions and my own work and trying to expand that a little bit. And then I'm still showcasing other local artists, you know, which is, I've scaled back on that a little bit too, but still, you know, have quite a few local artists. We'll have music occasionally, not as much as we did before, but obviously partnering with the folk club and jazz fest and things like that too.
Yeah, that'll be
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're doing good. So,
So I have came to a lot of the art walks, and you have been open to that.
Yeah.
Can you explain what the art walk is? And
Yeah, well, the art walk started, I actually started it when I first opened the studio gallery when I was next door. I used to organize that, and it's kind of, again, kind of grown, and the Esplanade took over organizing that a few years ago.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit in limbo right now. Like, we had planned art walks during the pandemic, and we ended up canceling them, and then we did try to do one, and it kind of
fizzled a little.
it fizzled because people ended up, like, the Esplanade ended up having to close.
Yeah.
Like, they got shut down just
Yeah.
before. So it was hard to plan things because you have to plan them so far in advance. So right now they're talking perhaps with the chamber
Oh.
kind of
Yeah.
taking over, and I think they're got something in the works. So
Oh, okay.
kind of watch for how that's going to evolve. And
Because during the summer, I mean, there were a lot of people that would come down and participate.
They were such a hit.
Yeah.
People really look forward to them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad that's kind of fizzled out a little bit, but I think it's going to have a new life.
Good.
With the chamber they're talking about, and I because I'm not kind of involved in the organizing now, I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure how it's
How?
going to, but I think it's going to be a good thing.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what would you like to see at the Monarch Theatre? Or what would you like, if you could wave the wand, what would be happening there?
Well, I've had a couple of experiences with repertory sort of theaters, like in other places I've lived, like in Kingston or in Vancouver. And, you know, I know it's tricky with the Monarch because they have to have their movies from a certain, you know, booking agent and stuff like that, so they're not always can play exactly what they want. But I think it could be a really great, continue to be a great theater.
Yeah.
I think it just has to have that consistent management and such, but I would love just to see it as an operating theater. I think there was a huge following. It was really just starting to get solid when the pandemic, you know, again, that pandemic was so harsh on theaters and movie theaters, and
Yeah.
so I you know,
And I know that they it's been used like when they were using it as a theater, but also opening it up and renting it out. I went to a fundraiser there for the SPCA. They had live music.
Yeah, they had weddings there too. and-
Our company, like the company I work for, we had our staff meeting there one night. Like, so it seemed that they were really working hard on trying to make it a go.
Yeah, for
And,
sure. I think
yeah.
it was starting to move forward, and sadly, that sort of has happened. I think this city, as far as I know, is looking for somebody to sort of take that over. And I think it would be sad to close it as a theater. And you know, I think there is such a following of people that just loved it.
Yeah,
you know,
and
loved
well,
going
and it's a
there.
historic building, isn't it? So
It
then
is,
they would just
Yeah.
it would just sit there,
Yeah.
which would
Yeah.
be really
It
sad.
does need a lot of work.
Yeah.
For sure, but
I used to work at the Monarch Theatre.
did you
In
when
high
you were a
school.
teenager?
Yes.
I can see
I
it.
was a doorman. And I used to have to climb up this little window and put a ladder up on the marquee and change the marquee.
Oh yeah.
That marquee's gone now.
Yeah.
It's probably digital.
No, I
No,
don't.
I don't think so. No, it's just gone.
Yeah.
just gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's only like half a block away. I should look maybe. But yeah, I think the Monarch could be used for so many things.
Yeah.
We did a podcast the other day with Sierra Zukowski, and she works at Trex.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And she talked about because she deals with artists all the time,
Yeah.
and how COVID was tough, and a lot of them are kind of underground, and they don't. But they need a place. These people need a place, and somehow, I don't know how. I mean, I don't know that stuff, but somehow, some way, if we can get people in there to be able to perform and show their stuff and sing or play music or whatever they do, it's good for them. It's good for us. And I think that would be great. So hopefully we can make that work
Yeah,
somehow.
absolutely.
And plus with that real estate next door, I don't know what'll happen there, but that real estate next door could combine with that and could, but when we're talking about a lot of money and I
Yeah.
guess time will tell what happens there.
Yeah, those sorts of things, those projects take a long time.
Oh yeah, a
And
long
a lot
time.
of money.
And a lot of money.
And a
yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
money. So last question. What do you think about this waterfront development?
Well, I have a hard time kind of envisioning what the final product is going to be. And when I'm looking at what they've done, a great example of the whole CCAN thing, and I've seen some stories in other cities of those being really successful, colorful kind of markets. And we have a couple examples downtown where people have done a CCAN sort of little business where a vacant, weed-infested garbage lot turned into something quite lovely. So, I mean, I've heard people be quite critical of it, like the CCAN thing, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I can kind of see where maybe I think they're going with that, and how that is maybe a good start to what could possibly be. But I don't know, I almost have to see it up and running and functioning to figure out.
Yeah.
I think people have got the wrong end of the stick somewhat too, because, with the whole waterfront, like, people said, oh, how can they block off all that? And there's going to be food trucks, and it's going to take away from your business and all this stuff. But I don't know. I think it's going to start something that's going to be a good thing. But
So the potential.
I think there is potential there, but I really feel like I have to see what it is, because I have a hard time envisioning
yeah.
exactly what they're going to do over
Yeah.
there. But yeah.
I think we all want it to succeed. I've lived here all my life. I want downtown to be nice.
Yeah.
I want it to be safe.
Absolutely.
And I want people to be able to go in that park and in there with their kids on a Sunday and sit down and have a coffee, or I'm not sure I want them to do that right now. But I hope that it changes. And if it does, that's great. And if it doesn't, then, they talked at council, it was only going to be a 5-year thing.
Okay.
So in 4.5 years, it'll be replaced by something, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. I hope it does nothing but good for people downtown, and brings a lot of
It brings
people.
people down. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it'll
I
be
hope
good.
so too.
Thanks for your time,
You're welcome.
because
Thanks, Maureen.
we barged in on you on a Friday morning. And we're going to talk to your sister, older
All right.
sister,
Yes.
and get the gist of the kitchen
All right.
and the food, and about how you guys, when you guys came to Canada.
All right.
And,
Sounds good. Well, I was born here, so.
Oh, you're a Canadian.
Yeah, I'm the Canadian.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's all right.
That's all right.
So are the rest of us. So. It's okay.
You're okay. I was
It's
born in
okay.
Canada.
Yeah.
I was born here, and you were born here.
I was, yeah. I have a brother, Michael, and I were born here, and then the rest of them came over on the boat.
And your sister's going to
We
tell
always
us.
joke that Michael and I look slightly different than everyone else, so we're not
Oh.
sure what the milkman here
Milkman.
looks
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is great.
like. All right,
Thank
Thank you.